Guys, so I want to record this video for a long time, but basically I want to give people a gist of when you do succeed with entrepreneurship and a business, how you can actually use it to change your life circumstances and live a life closer to the one that you want. I built my wealth entirely on an online business, no course situation whatsoever. I've never worked a single job one day in my life, and I was able to do it basically learning business on my own, online, no help, no information, no mentor, really no nothing. I wanted to kind of explain to people sort of how you can use your business expertise or your experience to sort of transform your life. So let's go back 2 years in time. I was running an agency out of West Palm Beach, Florida. After COVID, we had about 10 employees, majority of which were there in the office, and we had gotten up to a above $1 million a year in revenue, which is the equivalent of about $90,000 to $100,000 a month. Okay. It happened very quickly, meaning I was at 30, 40K MRR for a long time, maybe 2 years, stuck at that amount. And then we had a good area of sales. We were able to improve the product that we were selling, which was lead gen. And we got to 100K a month, straight retainers, basically. So that cash was coming in, and very quickly we got the same amount of cash with a higher profit margin. So before that, it was really even. I was paying myself a salary, wasn't really making a ton of money on it, but I was able to be flexible with hires and things like that. Then we got to this $100,000 point, and then boom, we're having 60K plus in profit every month. The money is stacking a lot quicker. So I think a lot of you guys who do business, you got to be aware of this possibility, this probability that the longer you spend on it, the more likelihood you're going to have one of those once in a lifetime events where your revenue actually goes up. You could work at a business for a long time, be able to pay your bills, obviously, but it's a lot of back and forth. And you never get to the point where you're really like, hey, I'm a rich guy. Okay. So I had this situation, I was grinding. I always felt great about being an entrepreneur because, I was able to support my lifestyle, do what I want, not have to, I could control my own hours, whatnot. But it really took me a year or 2 years of actually having a team, learning the team management equation before I got from that solopreneur level to, hey, we've got a business. And then the actual transition to having 60,000 plus coming into your bank account a month, it really only took a period of several months, okay, to when that happened. And then it sustained itself for several years after that without too much effort from my work. So I worked on the business for 3 years, okay? That's coming up with systems, learning how to manage clients, learning how to sell. Then I really grinded for a period of 2 years, sort of juggled a bit. And then my team, through a period of 3 months of sales, marketing really working, we added enough clients to the overall equation that we had, a lot of cash coming in. It's sort of similar with SaaS. Obviously, the numbers are lower. You're marketing more to them through PPC and stuff like that rather than talking to them one-to-one. But I've heard people have similar stories and similar kind of plateaus that they've reached financially based on that. So nonetheless, had this great month, started bringing the money in, and personally, what did that look like for me? So I'll give you the exact specifics financially. I had an apartment, nice, whatever apartment, $3,000 something a month. I was spending maybe another $3,000 on food, car, all that type of stuff. Girlfriend, funnily enough, broke up with the girlfriend very quickly after we got to the money piece. I think it's kind of that Wolf of Wall Street effect where you want to upgrade. I didn't want to play games or anything like that. But so got to that point, and then immediately I realized I had more capital. I didn't really need to, or I could afford to take a little bit more risk and not necessarily save or go bare bones on the budget anymore. That's when I made the decision to move to Miami. Immediately went in there, spur of the moment decision, condo, car, bunch of different things. And it happened pretty much, I just realized that I could do it at that point. And then I did. Before that point, my life was kind of tame. It was what you would think of, periods where I was single, going out, just like, other guys in their early 20s, working on the business, grinding 6-7 days a week. Very similar to all the solopreneurs and people in our community. Now, once I got to that point with the 100K plus going up from that amount, the lifestyle changed a little bit. I was flying back and forth more here to New York. I could see the family. I could do my thing in Florida, really live 2 separate lives. And then I started to set up things socially for myself in a more controlled way. So before that, you're hanging with the boys, you're doing your online dating, whatever. Once I sort of came into the upper echelon of cash, I'm not talking about top line revenue, I'm talking about profit coming in the bank, okay? You're able to do a lot of different things that previously you were unable to do. So I'll give certain examples. Boom, just tipping, greasing people at restaurants, going out to restaurants more often, being seen around town, generally having a smoother way of life. Two other things I explored was the boat situation. You could go on boats and entertain people. You could book event spaces and entertain people. Bottle service at the club. I'm always stuck in the clubs and whatnot. Never was a bottle service guy, didn't have the cash for it, but very quickly I'm being able to go in, get that rush, boom, get the bottle coming out, boom, boom, boom. Buying luxury goods, clothing. Didn't interest me really before that. I couldn't understand paying $2,000 for something that you could buy for $100, but that stuff really sort of opened itself up in a way where, I basically made myself a lot cooler version of me by doing that. And it happened relatively overnight, even though I was working for a long period to get there. And I think that's one of the things that most people miss. So long story short, was I ever really thinking about that when I was building the company? The answer really is no. I did want to get rich. Everybody wants to get rich. And once you do get to the point where you have, $100,000 coming in a month, you do feel kind of rich. Obviously, I can't do anything crazy or buy houses or stuff like that, but you do have a degree of freedom to you that's more ideal, and it's better in other ways. And it sort of transforms your perspective on things, meaning there could be a better way of life if you just really worked hard and kind of made it happen. But I definitely think people should not really focus too much on that end outcome. When it does happen, you can talk to me. You can figure out kind of what you're going to do with that money, how you're going to use it to improve your life, improve your reputation. But to think about that type of stuff before you get there is really not advisable. So when I was 21, I started a business. I read this book called Expenses. It was by this company called the Wall Street Playboys. And they said about like how once you get to certain levels of wealth, you start entertaining people at your house, you start buying designer clothing, and you go to lounges and tip people. I really thought that it was gonna, I was just gonna go 10K, 20K. I was just gonna stack shit up and get there. But it was a rude awakening when you work and then you realize that it's not really just a, hey, I'm gonna grind and get here, or hey, I'm gonna put my muscle into this and get there. It's a situation where it depends largely on external circumstances out of your control. You can create the possibilities and the clients and the revenue and the team to get there, but there's a lot of subtle factors like, sales month to month, your business model, the economy, what's going on personally in your life that influence that stuff. So don't be tied too much to the top of the line number. I am evidence though that you can do this without doing a course or finding some crazy business model. I had an extremely simple business model in terms of a marketing agency. Anybody else can do it. You don't need any credentials whatsoever. So check it out if you like more content like this. We'll talk soon.